It's been about 1 month since I got rid of everything I owned and moved to a new city to start over, fresh start in life. I've been very busy working on a community service project here, and it's going well. It's challenging. It's going well though. But all I keep thinking about is how much I want a home. I miss having a home. I miss having my own stuff, making coffee in the morning. I miss having privacy. I miss knowing where everything is. I miss I miss having my cozy bed and my nice private backyard. I miss having a home. And today I was just like, all this that I ask for in life, I do a lot of things, but all I really want, I just want a home. Just want a home.
Man, I used to love New York City so much. I never ever thought I'd ever leave. I was born here, born in Queens, New York, and I thought I'd die in Queens, New York. But I came back and the traffic is terrible. It's so congested. Everything is crazy pricey. And the crime is just getting out of hand. And I just realized, man, like when I moved to Dallas, Texas, part of me thought maybe I was making a little bit of a mistake, but I look back at it and it was the best decision I ever decided to do. God definitely was looking out for me, and God wanted me to do better, so he got me out of New York, and for that I'm so grateful. The toughest part was sacrificing my family, but in a selfish way I had to kind of do this for myself. So that's the only reason why I come back to New York, is just to see them, because if it wasn't for them I'd never come back.
Okay, cool. So I'm having to move out of my house because I can't afford rent. So I'm moving into my parents' property. But one time I couldn't afford rent either, and I was driving down the highway to try and go get help from social services, and the hood of my car smashed into my windshield and shattered it. So I pulled over, and this lady behind me pulled over and comes out. Turns out I happen to know her. So she helps me get to the social services office, and I'm calling my dad, and he's like out of state or out of town. And as I'm there, this other lady overhears me, and she's like, I'll call AAA and have them tow your car for free. What's your address? So they gave me a ride home, towed my car for free. A couple of days later, my friends called me, and they're like, hey, let's go out. And I was like, I'm sorry, I can't go out. I can't even get to work. My car is completely wrecked. The windshield's wrecked. I can't even make rent. I don't know how I'm going to fix this. So sorry, guys. And they're like, hey, you know what? We just ran into some cash, and we want to help you. So they paid for my car. They got me a rental, and they paid for rent for me that month. You want to know something? If the hood of my car hadn't flown up and shattered my windshield, none of that would have happened. I wouldn't have gotten any help, and I probably wouldn't have been able to pay rent that month, because I never would have told them that, hey, I can't pay rent. Sorry, I can't go out. I'd have been like, sure, let's go out. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, like, you know what? Me moving into my parents' house at 30 is going to be the best thing that's ever happened to me. It feels like right now I'm pulling over on the side of the road with a shattered windshield. My life sucks, but you know what? Everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be great. It doesn't matter. We're going to be fine. We're all going to be fine.
She is not the only millennial doing this.
Move to a secondary city. Do it now. I lived in LA and I lived in New York for 10 years. It was great. It did what it needed to do for my hustle and my grind. When you hit 30, move to a secondary city. Literally do it. You'll save money. You'll have a more comfortable lifestyle. Your body will thank you, because like we're getting up there. We need a little bit more space, a little bit more air to breathe, some trees. Look into secondary cities, people.
There's a wave of young people leaving big cities, and Bank of America actually did a survey to see which of those cities they are. These cities include Los Angeles, where the average home sale price is $1 million, and the average rent is $3,200. Groceries, which matter, are 11% higher than the national average. Next, there's Boston, where the average home price is $830,000. The average rent, which actually shocked me, is $37,000. That's a lot. And grocery prices were also 11% higher than the national average. San Jose, which is pretty close to Silicon Valley, is another city young people are leaving. The average cost of a home is $1.4 million. And rent is about $2,700. Groceries, and this shocked me, is 21% higher than the national average. You are really paying a lot for that avocado. New York, which we all know is very expensive, is losing young people. The average home price is $1.2 million. The average rent is over $4,600. And grocery prices are 30% higher here than the national average. This is actually one of the reasons why I literally buy fruit from the street. And then there's San Francisco, which has an average home price of $1.3 million. And the average apartment rent is a little over $3,600. And groceries, just like New York, are 30% higher than the national average. A part of me hopes that there's a massive exodus of young people leaving these big cities, because I think if cities get desperate enough for young people, for talent, that they will have to address these economic inequalities. What do you think?
Miami's a fucking shithole right now. It's a shithole. And if you're a local, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Even if you want to pretend that Miami's great and oh, it's the best city, because I know a lot of you locals like to pretend that. But you see it. You see it when you're driving. You drive by houses, small little houses that have 5, 6, 7, 8 cars parked outside, because that's how many people are living there. Maybe even more, because some of them don't have cars. More people are living there than the number of cars that you see. You know that the shit is getting really stinky here. I have a colleague who's in her 50s. She works full time, 6 days a week. Her rent went up 30% in 1 year. She could not absorb that cost, so she had to move. And now, and she found like a little efficiency. If you don't know what that is, it's basically like a converted tool shed that she's living in a converted tool shed in the back of someone's property for super cheap. It's like a little tiny studio, tiny, like a bed and some shelves. That's what she's got now. A woman in her 50s who works 6 days a week full time and has done so for decades. But she can't afford to fucking live, and now she found out she has cancer. And we work in an industry where there's no PTO. There's no PTO. Yeah, there's no PTO. There's no politician saying that we should have PTO. There's no politician in hell saying that they shouldn't raise the rents 25, 30, 35% in 1 year. And that happened to me too. That happened to me too. My rent went up in 1 year 25%, and there's no way that I could absorb that cost. So I had to move from the apartments that I was living in close to the coast to move in with family so that I could just survive. And at that time, I was working 7 days a week, making well into the 6 figures. This was almost 3 years ago. I was making well into the 6 figures, and I had to move back in with family. That's the situation that we're living in right now. The only way that people can survive in Miami is either they have a ton of money, or if they're actually like working for a living, then they have to shack up with multiple roommates, not just one, multiple roommates. Or they have to shack in with family. And the ones that don't have that fall off the fucking grid, i.e. they become homeless, or they have to just leave the state and go find somewhere where they can live. If they're lucky. If they're fucking lucky. And so now when I see people like making these videos, all these creators that are like, oh, Miami, it's paradise. Look at me, look at me, look at me in my bag and my coffee or my shoes. Look at my car, bro. Look at my new car, bro. Yeah, all of those videos, keep making them. Keep making them, please. We want to know everything about your life, down to like what time you go to that coffee shop, where you park your car, right? So that we can figure out how much money you make, because when the shit hits the fan, you know, Miami was an interesting place in the 1980s, and I feel like it's gonna head back there real quick. Real quick. I mean, we're already like 1 foot in the 1980s. And if you don't know what the Miami was like in the 1980s, go look it up. Watch Cocaine Cowboys. Yeah, just crime, drugs, fun, great times.
If you're gonna move to Houston and you're scared of driving, you have 2 options. Number 1 is don't, and number 2 is get comfortable, because every day I think I risk my life on the road. I used to consider myself a somewhat, free-spirited, carefree individual, but I have had such like bad anxiety since moving to the city, and I think it's because like getting from point A to point B, like I just feel like it's the Hunger Games. I don't have another way to describe it. People are constantly driving distractedly. The roads are horrible, and I don't know, people are just crazy. So also, like, you have to be a defensive driver, because everyone around you just assume that they're going to be offensive drivers, and they will just crash into you. Like, they're going to assume that you're going to be the defensive driver. But if you are a defensive driver, you're also going to be extremely annoying to people. So not only do you have to be a defensive driver, but you have to be an aggressive defensive driver. So you have to be I don't even know how to describe it. You have to aggressively, I don't know, predict, I guess, what these people are doing. So I don't know. Always assume that someone is willing to run you over on the road. That's my advice if you move here, because I'm just trying to get to Trader Joe's. I'm trying to be so nice. I'm driving the speed limit or faster. Like I'm driving with the flow of traffic, and people just want to dart out in front of me. They want to like drive the wrong way down one ways, and everyone is going to assume that you are in the wrong. So anyways, stay safe out there.
I hate when people are like, my city is full, my city is full. Probably isn't. Your city government probably should do a better job zoning, and the rich people in your city should probably contribute more to everything else to make it better for everyone else. Like, people will say that and live in, Dallas, where the density is 9 times less than New York. People will say that and live in Oklahoma City or somewhere where the density is 10 times less than Chicago. Your city is definitely not full. And I understand why people can feel this, because people can come in, want to raise prices, change the culture. I'm against that. I think if you come into a city, as someone who has moved a bunch of times in my life, if you come into a city, you should adapt to that culture and work with the culture to continue to make that city a better place and infuse whoever you are into that culture. With that said, that's not a question of whether you are full or not. That's a question of whether people can be adaptable. And so I really have 2 things on this. First, most cities are not full. You just need to redistribute the money and the resources better and build better. And the second thing is, from the people coming into cities, please adapt to the culture of where you're coming into.
The reason people in Oakland are seriously struggling is because there's no jobs. There's no way to get money, to make money, to pay bills. Everything that come here closes down. Dunkin' Donuts came to Oakland. Dunkin' Donuts shut down. Can't make it no more. We have the Starbucks right here. Starbucks gone, closed down, leaving Oakland. Can't make it here no more. We just got this Raising Cane's restaurant over here. They had to close down the inside. Gone. Can't open no more. Almost every business that opens up in Oakland closes. Businesses closed. Everything closed. Next to Chipotle closed. In-N-Out Burger on the other side of this used to be a Walmart. We don't even have a Walmart in Oakland. You know you ain't got no jobs if you don't got no Walmart in your city. You know your city's struggling if you don't got no Walmart. Walmart closed down. Walmart could not survive Oakland. Oakland is a hard place to survive. We got In-N-Out Burger right there on the other side, ready to close down, and I'm pretty sure Panda went after that. Next to T-Mobile and Chipotle, the little restaurant in there closed. The little restaurants across the street you can't see in them parking lots closed. All these big old buildings, big giant buildings, empty.
I'm going to give you the pros to moving to Tulsa, Oklahoma and making it your home. 1, the cost of living. It's super cheap to live here. 2, you can get away with petty crimes because the cops are way too busy chasing down gang members, murderers, and active shooters. 3, you can act like a ravished lunatic at the gas station and no one's going to bother you. In fact, they might even give you money. 4, you don't have to worry about difficult conversations with your peers or your coworkers because word gets around and everybody already knows. 5, if you need a place to crash for the night, just go to the local emergency room. The wait time is typically about 12 hours, so you can totally snooze. No one's even going to know you're not a patient. 6, if you love the 4th of July, it's like that here year-round. 7, Wednesday at noon, you can enjoy your lunch outside and get an opportunity to listen to the beautiful sounds of tornado sirens being tested. Welcome to Tulsa, Oklahoma.
We paid over $120,000 in taxes this year. Trust me when I say that I hate taxes. I think the entire system is engineered to keep middle class exhausted and the ultra rich, not the normal rich, the ultra rich, untouchable. But since we're forced to bankroll this circus, let's get one thing straight. People on SNAP are not the goddamn problem. My rage isn't aimed at broke people. It's aimed at billionaires dodging taxes while convincing you that your neighbor's groceries are the reason you can't afford health care. No one's bankrupting America by buying Doritos or a box of Lucky Charms. The people who are, those would be the billionaires lobbying Congress to rewrite tax codes while convincing you that your neighbor's groceries are a threat. That's what we call propaganda, and you people have swallowed it whole. I don't care if someone uses Snap to buy Cheetos or ribeyes or a fucking birthday cake. Food is survival. Comfort is human. Poor people deserve humanity, not public shaming. You don't lose your moral worth because you don't buy or can't afford a cart full of organic kale. And I swear, the irony of watching people with Jesus is King in their bios cheer for children to go hungry or eat only what they think is appropriate is something that theology could never explain. Christ fed the poor. You think poverty is a punishment instead of a consequence of a rigged system. So no, I don't give a damn what someone buys with their Snap card. My rage is reserved for billionaires who pay less taxes than teachers and the brainwashed masses who defend them like good little disciples.
And one thing I will forever miss about Louisiana is the alcohol laws. What you mean I can't go to the corner store and buy hard liquor? Like, I gotta go to the liquor store? What you mean when I go out to eat, I can't bring my liquor home? What you mean? You gotta finish it before you leave? Like, what you talking about? Then what kills me, on Sundays, some places don't sell alcohol. Talk about it's Sunday. And so what? Like, y'all don't drink on Sundays? Like, I can't. That's the only thing I miss about my state. I can drink whenever, however, whenever. I don't know, I can't get used to this.
I know this will be controversial, but I genuinely think America is the most beautiful country on earth. Look at this. Right behind me are the grand tampons, standing tall and proud. Amazing. It's got to be the best one. This is one of those things that no matter what time you get here, gonna be real busy. We woke up at 4 a.m. for this. The views are pretty though, I must admit. You can't tell me that isn't absolutely breathtaking. Now, Americans, what state should we visit next? Where else am I gonna get spectacular views just like that? And if anyone's in the comments telling me America's not the most beautiful country in the world, come here and then say that to me, yeah? Yeah.
Maybe the most interesting part of American migration story isn't where people are going. It is why they are willing to leave places they once thought they would never leave. For some, it is housing. For others, it is job. For others, it is traffic, weather, schools, taxes, safety, or simply the feelings that their community has changed. And for some people, it is politics. But underneath all those reasons is the same basic calculation. What kind of life can I actually build here? That is a difficult question because a place can be beautiful and still be unaffordable. It can have a great job and terrible traffic. It can have low taxes, fewer opportunity. It can have warm weather and expensive insurance. There is no perfect destination. And that is why the idea that Americans are simply fleeing one place to another misses something important. They are making trade-off. They are deciding what they are willing to give up and what they are not. And maybe that is why this story feels so emotional. Because moving isn't just changing your address. It is sometimes admitting that life you imagine in one place no longer fits the reality you are living. You can love your hometown, you can miss your friend, you can love the weather, the memory, and the people, and still decide you have to go. And perhaps that's the biggest change happening. Home isn't always the place you love the most anymore. For some Americans, home is becoming the place where they believe they can still afford to build the life they want. And that raises a much bigger question. If the people who love a place can no longer afford to stay there, what happened to the place they leave behind? I will see you in the next video. Bye, and God bless you.